Sort of a slow news week, and we covered healthcare with Barney. So I thought I would take more of a deep dive here and talk about what's really worrying me, which is we seem to be losing the thread, I would say, with some of the bedrock beliefs and institutions that I always, my whole life, thought I took for granted. I guess I shouldn't have. Let me just read some recent polling. These are from different polls. I won't bore you with all that they are, but just take this in and then tell me not to kill myself. 36% of Republicans think freedom of the press does more harm than good. Only 61% of Republicans think it is necessary. Only 30% of millennials think it is essential to live in a democracy. 2 decades ago, 1 in 16 Americans believed army rule would be a good way to run the country. Now it's 1 in 6. Among the young and affluent, it has increased nearly sixfold to 35%. A fifth of undergrads now say it's acceptable to use physical force to silence a speaker. Remind me to work out more, because they say specifically offensive and hurtful statements. 62% of student Democrats think you should be able to shout down speech you don't like. 52% of Republicans said they would support postponing the 2020 election if Trump proposed it. I want my country back. Don't you? I don't know, and you notice this is left and right.
Sure.
This is young and old. Mm-hmm. This is a national problem. What do we do?
How long has it been a problem, I wonder?
That's a great question. These are recent polling.
To the scope you're talking about now, this is a fairly emergent phenomenon. This is a fairly new problem.
Right.
And I think, as you said, it's on the left and the right. And we need to get back to a point where this country has some agreements and some fundamental values that we recognize that speech is contentious and it's problematic, and sometimes it makes you feel uncomfortable, but tough shit. It's how it ought to be. That's what our country ought to embrace.
I totally agree. I think if you go to Harvard and you sign that contract to go to Harvard, you have to be also told if you protest anyone, right or left, and you vocally try to stop their thoughts, you're expelled. And if you don't trust me, go back to your original contract. And you don't have to come to our Harvard, by the way.
No, right.
You don't have to agree to this.
There is no problem with peaceful protest. I am all in support of peaceful protest.
We're not talking about peaceful.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But I think that the differentiation is being lost on young people, on old people, right? I mean, the real divide in our country today is not so much about left versus right. It's about, do we want to live in an open society or a closed society? And that's about, do we value free speech? Do we value ideas that are different than us and people who are different than us? And to be clear, this is not only an American problem. If you look at the data from around the world, there's this thing called the World Values Survey, and it shows that around the world, around what we call the West, Western values are disappearing. And this is true around Europe. It's true in the United States.
Wow. I didn't know that was...
Yeah.